If you're a fan of Fallout the board game, then we've got you well and truly covered here on the Lucky Roll. Have you watched our unboxing videos yet for Fallout New California, Fallout Wasteland Warfare, or most recently Fallout Shelter the board game? What about our video covering the top 5 reasons to love Fallout, or even our Atomic Bonds announcement reaction video? Not to forget our very popular ongoing series of Fallout playthrough videos. If you've missed any of these, check the info in the description below and follow the links to catch up. And don't forget to subscribe to the Lucky Roll to stay up to date with all of our future Fallout releases.
Hello and welcome to the Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games, and today we're going to do part 4 of our Fallout playthrough. Now, as it stands, we're doing the Capital Wasteland quest, and the Enclave are one step ahead of the Brotherhood. Now, the reason they're a step ahead is because we are working on behalf of the Enclave. We have decided to side with them in this particular playthrough. I have decided to paint the character because given all that he was going through, I think he at least deserved some sort of a treat. Now, the number I gave him was number 13. Now, why did I give him 13, I hear you ask? Because in the Capital Wasteland, the original protagonist was from Vault 101. The reason I gave him Vault 13 is because Fallout 1. Fallout 1 was the computer game that introduced me to the whole franchise, and the protagonist there was from Fallout 13, and basically nostalgia reasons, because that was one of my most favorite games ever, and if I'm going to have a Vault dweller from a Vault, I'm going to pick 13. We have a couple of interesting quests on hand as well. Now, the main story quest is Give Me Liberty. The Brotherhood of Steel are currently building Liberty Prime to combat against the Enclave. Now, I have two choices. I can go to the Robco factory and discard a robot companion to push forward the agenda deck for the Brotherhood of Steel. However, we're not working for them, we're working for the Enclave. So the plan is to go to the tower, spend a few caps and sabotage the project. Another quest item we have that's open is the Brotherhood airship has arrived. So up here is a Brotherhood airship, and if I do get back up to that side of the map, I could try and rob something off them. There's also But It Was Aliens. In Hoffman Farm here, we had alien investigations and different things going on. Now, we've had a bit of a look, and it was aliens. However, in order to tell or move the story along, I need to quest at a caravan space to meet the Brotherhood of Steel. And that's not all. We were also mid-quest line on the Children of Atom. Now, we have become a convert for the Children of Atom. We're irradiated up to an insane degree, and we have a choice. We can find Pendleton Estate, which is not here on the map yet, and discard a companion to get an agenda card, or we could end the reign of terror of the Children of Atom and fight. So we'll see what happens when we discover Pendleton Estate. There's also vault rumors. There's a vault rumored to be around here somewhere, and we could quest at a settlement to see if we can find or talk to a person from that vault. And finally, the boxcar children, which are a bunch of orphans that we have the option to help. Now, we haven't discovered the boxcar children yet, and the Tabula Rasa is just a card that is associated with it. So when we find the boxcar children, we'll start dealing with that. Now, as it stands, at the end of the last video, I had just drawn an agenda card because it's the board's turn. So drawing the agenda card, we have Star and Deathclaw. So this means that the Deathclaw symbol moves forward 1, which is an irradiated ghoul, and there are no stars here, and it goes back to us. Now, I like the idea of hunting for a vault. So, vault rumors. Every year, new unfortunates appear out of the wasteland, claiming to have been banished from an underground bunker made from before the war by a company called Vault Tech. Perhaps it is worth investigating. Now, I have two choices. Many of the Vault exiles are caught by raiders. You might be able to get something off one of them, so I could kill any raider character, or I could see if I can find an old exile who will sell me information. I can quest at any space, settlement space, and spend 4 caps. So I think I will do exactly that. I will use my first action to quest here, I'll spend 4 caps, which I happen to be awash in money for a change. And we will gain an agenda card. So the agenda card we get is Know It All. I will get an extra agenda point if there's exactly 1 unexplored tiles, and an extra 2 agenda points if there's 2 unexplored tiles. So what I'll do is I'll keep that card. I already have 4 agenda cards and I need to replace 1. So I will get rid of the freedom card, put that back into the deck, and I will use this card to try and push up my agenda points. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to stage 69. So this card gets trashed and we'll take out card 69. Boy, hey. And it reads, 69. Crack it open. The information around town says that there are people locked away inside the vault, but they are somewhat, very hostile to outsiders. Perhaps you can break in. So I can crack open the giant metal door in the mountains, where I would quest at Vault 84, which is actually here. So I could go there and pretty much crack open the door. Or I could overload a nearby substation to force the door open, which is quest at the Red Rocket Station, which is here. Now that is interesting. I could go forward to progress the main storyline, but investigating vaults is always interesting. Now I think what I'll do is I'll go around the long way, because I do need to explore some more of these tiles. So my first action was the quest at Megaton. I can't quest 2 times in a row, unfortunately. I can't do the same action twice in terms of questing. So I might as well go forward and see if I can explore. So I'll take 1 step here, and that's the end of my turn. Now we draw the next agenda card, which is Shield. So we have Shield, Bugs, and Robots. So the Shield moves forward 1. This Shield moves forward 1 towards me, but because we're on the same side, the Enclave are not going to do anything towards me. The Bugs move forward, so this mole rat moves here, and this bug wakes up, and this bug moves here onto that tile, which is not where I wanted it to go, but... And robots activate, and there's no robots on the board, so I'm going to put that aside. Now, unfortunately, we have come to the end of the agenda deck, so I need to shuffle these once again. Aside, and what happens here with the main story is that the Brotherhood catches up with the Enclave, so I have effectively 3 rounds left in order to win the game.
Lucky Roll is the home of the best board game reviews, news, competitions and discussions. We cover everything from the game of life to Gloomhaven, so don't miss out. Subscribe now to join the fun. For my first action, I believe I will explore this tile. So what happens is you explore the tile and you put the bad guy where you want. Now what we have here is Dead End Crossing, which is a wasteland, and I will put the bloatfly here, which is not great because there is a big radiated symbol here in the front. What I'll do is I'll show it to you. So I've compounded my bug problem because there's a new bug spawn point. There is a big radiated section here and the bug there. Now that was my first action, and I think my second action will be to go around, because I might as well try and explore to get some extra agenda points. So unfortunately this is rough terrain. There's a red outline around it, so that costs me 2 of my movement points to go there, and it's the board's turn again. So what we have here is Star and Robot. Now there is no stars on the board and there's no robots on the board, so things have worked out nicely for us. Oh yes, and I forgot to spawn a bug here. So what we'll do is we'll explore this tile,
and see what we have to play with. And we have Vault 7 that we haven't heard about. That was my first action, and for my second action I will explore this tile. And we see what we have here, which is the Robco factory, and lots more radiation, unfortunately. Now, no matter where I go, there seems to be radiation everywhere. Now, after 2 turns, it goes back to the board, and we'll see what the agenda is. And it's Star and Super Mutants. Now, fortunately, as you can see, there is no stars on the board, but there are Super Mutants. So this fella takes a nice big step towards me, and I believe there's no other Super Mutants on the board. There isn't, so back to ourselves. Now, given that we're pressed for time, and it's going to be very difficult to get to Fallout 84, I think it might be more prudent to come around here to the tower and move the main storyline onwards. So I think I will take a step 1, 2, which was my first action, and I'll explore this tile to see what we come across. And we have Vault 44, so there's a lot of vaults in this particular game, and it's nice and wide and open. So those are my 2 actions. So we draw the agenda card, and we have raiders. So the raider icons are the ones that move this round. So these 2 take a step towards me, and this fella takes a step into Megaton. Now, Megaton is not a nice place to be right now, because there is a super mutant brute, a mole rat, and an acolyte all infesting the place. So I don't think I'll be going back to Megaton for a little bit. And it's back to me. Now, I could go 1, 2. Oh yes, and the Robco factory brought in a spawn point for robots. Now, I am wasting time. I have only a few more agenda cards left. So what I think I will do is I will use the Night Person perk that I got in the last episode, which allows me to place my figure in any space on the map, and then I may perform a fight, quest, or an encounter action. Now, what I could do is I'll just use it to spawn here at the tower and push this quest onwards a little bit. It also gives me a bit of breathing room, because I will push the Enclave symbol down 1 instead of both the Brotherhood and the Enclave going down together. So I think I will use this perk, and I will appear here at the tower. Now, the tower, that was my first action, and the perk allows me to take an actual action. So what we need to do at the tower is pay off some local criminals to sabotage the Brotherhood's project. I quest at the tower. I need a perception or quest score of 5, and I spend 4 caps. Now I have perception and charisma, and I need a score of 5. Now, fortunately, I still have my detective coat, which allows me a free score on perception, and I have Marcus, which actually in this scenario is no use to me, because he only affects scores with strength, intelligence, and endurance. So, rolling the dice, I need a score of 5, and I have perception, charisma, and I have well-rested traits, so that gives me 1 extra reroll. So my first reroll is, I have a score of 2, and Danada. So what I think I will do is I'll roll again. Now, I could use Ultrajet. Tell you what, before I use my Ultrajet allows me to, is one of my items. It allows me to change dice face. So I change the face of 2 of my die to whatever result I want. So perhaps on my final turn, if I'm not going to get it, I'll use it. So this is my first reroll for perception, and I scored 3, which is not bad, actually. 3 out of 5. Now, the detective's code gives me an extra score, so what I'll do is I'll use I'll keep that and hopefully I'll get a hit with this card. And I do. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the detective code gives me a perception of 5. So what I do is I spend 4 caps. So I'll spend one of my blue 5 caps and take change of 1. And the Enclave moves forward 1 space. Now what also happens is that I stage 54 and 157 and this card gets trashed. So 54 and 157. So the card Give Me Liberty gets trashed and is replaced with Or Give Me Death. And it's also replaced with Can't Touch This. Now, Or Give Me Death says, The Enclave has begun their work on Project Purity. Their intention, however, is quite dissimilar to the original intention of the water purifier. Soon they will introduce a solution into the water that will cleanse every mutation from the capital Wasteland, making room for a new age for mankind. Now I have an option. I can recruit help from the Wasteland for the Enclave's work at Project Purity, or the Brotherhood is close to activating their weapon and taking the war directly to the Enclave. Now, it seems that I need to recruit help from the Wasteland for the Enclave's work at Project Purity if I'm going to follow the Project Purity line, in which I quest at any settlement and I spend 10 caps. Now, I just have about 10 caps. So I have 5 here and 6 here. So I will need to keep all my money in order to kind of pass that part. And the second card is Can't Touch This. Metner and Somerville have been rivals for years, and what started as a small dispute has escalated to a violent feud. This time, Metner has crafted an indestructible bunker, and Somerville is fixing up something that she found in the Wasteland to bust inside that bunker. I can steal the prototype from Metner, which is in the Pendleton estate, which I have not yet discovered, or I could help Somerville fix up her device, in which I could quest at the Robco factory. Now that is an interesting one because the Robco factory is right there, whereas Pendleton estate is not discovered yet. Now depending on where I get closer to, I'll have another look at that card. However, the main storyline, of course, is Or Give Me Death. So that was my first action, and of course I need to spawn... Oh no, that wasn't a discover tile. That was my first action, so my second action, I believe I will move 1 step to here. Now it's back to the board's turn, and we flip the card, and we have Star and Deathclaw. So there is no stars and play, so the Deathclaw, which is the glowing one, will move 1 space here, because this part is not connected to that tile, so he has to go north. And it's back to myself. So I think what I'll do is I'll do a bit more exploration. So I'll discover this tile for my first action, which is just a big, huge radiated pit, so I will not be going there. And exploring with my second action, this tile, which is the boxcar orphans. Now that is interesting.
If you're a fan of Fallout the board game, then we've got you well and truly covered here on the Lucky Roll. Have you watched our unboxing videos yet for Fallout New California, Fallout Wasteland Warfare, or most recently Fallout Shelter the board game? What about our video covering the top 5 reasons to love Fallout, or even our Atomic Bonds announcement reaction video? Not to forget our very popular ongoing series of Fallout playthrough videos? If you've missed any of these, check the info in the description below and follow the links to catch up. And don't forget to subscribe to the Lucky Roll to stay up to date with all of our future Fallout releases.
Finally, I have discovered the boxcar orphans, and it's also given me a settlement in which I can shop in. Now, it's again the board's turn, so flipping over the agenda card, we have bugs. So the bugs are the ones that move this time. So this blowfly takes a step towards here. This buzzer activates, and the mole rat comes out of Megaton and takes a step towards me. and this feral ghoul takes a step towards me, and I believe that is all the bugs in play. Now the boxcar children, we have a choice. We can go to them and quest on the space, in which I can discard weapon items, caps, and drugs. Now I happen to have all of them, but I need them. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to be a little bit selfish on behalf of myself instead of helping the poor old boxcar children. So I think instead of helping them, I will go 1, 2 and explore this tile, because I have know-it-all, in which I can get an extra 3 agenda points if I have 0 explored tiles on the board. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and for my second action I'm going to explore this tile. And we have Highway 74, and we have more radiated areas. Now it goes back to the board, and what we have is shield, bug, and robot. So we'll start with the shield, in which the enclave takes a step towards me. This enclave takes a step towards me. We have bugs. Now this bug would move here. The feral ghoul now walks into Megaton, and the mole rat takes a step into the irradiated zone to get to me. And finally, the bloatfly. Now the bloatfly is interesting. He has a ranged symbol. Now he's in the space next to me. Now what the ranged symbol means is that he attacks me directly, so I am automatically in combat. Fortunately, however, he is only level 1, and he has the in order to defeat him, I need to use headshots and torso. So going into combat, if I can find the die, which are here in front of me, I need torso and headshots. And that was cocked, so I'll re-roll again. Cocked, and I'll re-roll again. So I have 2 arms and 1 torso and 3 hits. Now I only need 1 hit to kill it. However, he's inflicted 3 hits on me. Now the way this works is I have 2 shield from my clothing, 1 from the vault suit and 1 from the detective coat. So only 1 hit point goes through him, because he's only level 1 character, it's only 1 hit point. So I'm now down to 15 hit points. However, the bloatfly is passed on, and we replace it with a new token in the nearest bug space, which is here. And we get a whole 1 XP for our efforts. Whoopee. Now it's back to myself, so what I could do here actually is, this is tagged on to this tile. So Highway 74 is actually quite beneficial for me, because I can go 1, and I have access to 2 tiles here. So I think I will explore this one for my second action. So turning it around, we have the Palisades, which is a lot of rough terrain and a super mutant spawn point. So we'll take a super mutant icon and put it here, and of course it goes back to the board. So turning over the card, we have raiders and bugs. So the raiders activate, so these 2 bios take a step here. The acolyte leaves Megaton, and this raider takes a step out from the super duper mark. And bugs also activate, so this fella wakes up, in which he is a stingwing. The blood bug actually takes a step here, and he's got the fast moving icon, so that means he takes 2 steps at a time. And the other mole rat takes a step towards me here, and the feral ghoul also leaves. Oh no, the feral ghoul also leaves Megaton towards me, and actually he would join the acolyte. And we have come to the end of the agenda deck. So what happens next is the star moves forward and joins the enclave. Now unfortunately, it looks like I'm not going to win this game, because I have to have a cumulative total of 11 influence points. 1 more round and both figures will move down and the game is over. So unfortunately, no matter what, I'm going to lose the game, but we'll play it through to the end of the story regardless. So, on my turn, this does not have a lightning symbol. If it had a lightning symbol, it would attack me straight away. However, it's only sharing the space with me. So what I'm going to do for my first action is I'm going to explore this tile, which is a raider camp. And I put this icon here. And I'm going to move 2 spaces. So that will be 1, 2. And of course I need to shuffle my agenda deck. So the very first card we draw is Raiders and Bugs. So the Raiders move forward, so Raider Scum and Raider Psycho, a lovely duo, take a step here. We have an Acolyte, takes a step into the radiation, and there is no, oh yes, the Looter takes a step here towards me. We also have Bugs, so the Blood Bug follows me, and because he's fast, he moves 2 spaces, so 1, 2, so he's sticking with me. We have the Stingwing, which moves towards me. We have the Mole Rat, which moves towards me. The Feral Ghoul moves here, and the Super Mutant Brute takes a step out of Megaton. And that is it. Now, poor old Megaton had a lot of unsavory characters there for a little while, so I'm saying they're glad to have rid of them. However, this is quite possibly the worst space on the board, with 3 Raiders and 2 beasts in literally a radiated zone, so that's not a place you'd want to hang out. Oh, of course, this Raider icon also spawns, which is yet another Raider Psycho. So, hello, Mr. Psycho. Now, unfortunately, I'll have to kill this blood bug before I can explore that tile. So, just to show you without dropping it. So, in order to do combat with this blood bug, I would need to hit the torso or the legs once. However, he also irradiates me because he's got the radiation symbol. So, entering into combat, I need torso and legs. Now I have 1 torso shot here, and which is enough to kill him. However, he will be inflicting 4 points of damage on me, and I do not want that. So I'm going to use one of my rerolls. I can use Intelligence, Agility, and Luck as a reroll. So, unfortunately, I've drawn 4 hit points again. So that was my first of 3 rerolls, my second of 3 rerolls, and of course, somehow I seem to be getting all the doubles, and my third of 3 rerolls, and it's finally what I want. So the bug does 2 hit point damages, does 2 points of damage to me. However, I do have an armor value of 2, so nothing happens. The bug disappears, and we draw a new bug to be spawned here, and I get a whole XP for my trouble. So if I get another XP point, I will level up. Now I just need to check the radiation damage with the instructions.
If you're enjoying this video, please like, share and subscribe. And of course, we want to hear from you. Post a comment, pose a question, get involved.
After looking up the instructions, the enemy only inflicts radiation damage on me if he manages to inflict a point of damage, and in this case he did not, so I was fortunate enough to escape that. So for my second action, my first action was fighting the bug, my second action is to explore this tile, which is Vault 109, and I have another Deathclaw figure to contend with. Now it is back to the board. So, drawing the agenda card, we have bugs. So bugs are the next ones that come to annoy me. So the Stingwing flies over here. This fellow wakes up. The Mole Rat moves onto Highway 74. The Feral Ghoul moves onto Highway 74. And that seems to be it. Right. I have a couple of choices. Now, I could come up here to Crossroads Camp, which is where the Brotherhood airship is. So if I went up to Crossroads Camp to check out the Brotherhood airship, I could try and do something interesting. So I think I will do that. I will go 1, 2 for my first action, and for my second action, I will go here. Now it goes back to the board, and we flip over the card, and we have Star and Super Mutant. Now there's no stars on the board, however there are a couple of super mutants. This super mutant brute takes a step towards me here. You walk into the radiated area, and this super mutant wakes up, in which it is a super mutant overlord. So the further I get away from him, the better. And it is back to myself. Now the reason I want to stop at Crossroads with the Brotherhood airship is I have a choice. I'll just read the card out to you. Having received information about strange occurrences, the Brotherhood has sent one of their airships to the Wasteland. I can place a marker on any space of the starting tile, which is the Brotherhood airship, which I have placed there. And I help gather local... I have two choices. I can help gather local technology for analysis. So there is... in order to do that, I need to kill a robot figure, but there's no robot figures at play on the map. The second one is the airship looks like it has some pretty fancy gear on board. Maybe I could borrow some. So I quested the airship, and I need a score of 5 using charisma, agility, and luck. Now I fortunately have all 3 traits. So I think we will do just that. So rolling the dice, we have a score of 2, a score of 1, and a score of 0. So that was my first roll. I'll keep the 2-pointer. So for that was my first roll. My second roll, I have another 1-pointer and a 0. So that was charisma, that was agility. Now I'm going to roll for luck, and I have 4 points. Now I am going to use my well-rested trait to get another reroll, and if I get 1 point, I will luck out. And I do, so I score 5 points, and I am rewarded with the T60 Power Armor unique asset. So this is what this deck is, all the unique assets. So let's find our T60 Power Armor and have a nice little look at this. Now it has a shield value of 3, which is brilliant, which will negate nearly everything that attacks me. And I am also treated as having endurance. Now I already have endurance, however. I will use this, and I will replace the detective's coat. Now the detective's coat was quite useful, because it does give me an extra hit point to perception. However, the amount of protection the T60 Power Armor gives me is silly. It also gives me a armor value of 4 with the vault suit underneath. So unfortunately I can only carry so much. Now I could get rid of the Stealth Boy, I could get rid of the Ultra Jet, or I could get rid of the Addictol. Now all of them have different monetary values. The Ultra Jet I would like to keep because I could need it for a further test. The Stealth Boy allows me to resolve enemy hits before it hits me. However, I am so powerful at this stage, I think I will get rid of the Stealth Boy. And I will leave that in the discard pile and hold on to the Detective's Coat, because I could equip it for other further tests that might need perception. Now, after that, I also stage 109 and I add 110. So 109 gets staged and I add 110. Now 110 goes into this part here. So because there's only one player, I only take one card from the top of the deck and I shuffle it into it. If there was 2 people playing, you would take 2 cards. If 3 people playing, 3 cards and 4. So fortunately, if I quested Wasteland spaces, I should encounter that card quickly enough. And this card gets trashed, so we'll check out Brotherhood Control. Enraged by the theft of their power armor, the Brotherhood has put the Wasteland on total lockdown. do not discard the airship. At the end of each round, the airship moves one space towards the highest level settlement on the map. So the highest level settlement, I believe, is Megaton. Is Megaton and the tower. Yep, Megaton. So to encounter any wasteland, I must first draw and fight Raider. Apply +1 to its level. So this is going to be a bit of a pest if I want to do anything. So in order to get rid of the airship, I will have to encounter any wasteland until I locate the Brotherhood vertibird, or I could lay down my arms in front of the Brotherhood, quest at the airship, discard a weapon, and get rid of the airship that way. Now my weapon happens to be the plasma rifle, or the plasma gun, so I'm not going to get rid of my weapon. I think I will encounter wasteland spaces until I encounter the Brotherhood vertibird. So, oh dear, I'm after upsetting the Brotherhood a little bit. So that was my first action, was to move there. My second action was, that was my first action, I believe, was questing there. My second action is I'm just going to go 1, 2, so I can explore these 2 spaces. And we go back to the agenda deck. Now we have here Star and Robot. So the Star activates, there's no Star, and the Robot activates. So we'll finally see what this fella is going to be. And he is a Mr. Gutsy. So Mr. Gutsy here arrives at next to the Robco factory, and it's back to ourselves. So for my first action, I'm going to explore this tile, and we have basically just a wasteland. And for the second action, I'm going to explore this tile, which is Ends Meet and a Raider icon. So we'll put the Raider icon here. Those are my 2 actions, and we go back to the agenda deck. So flipping the card, we have Raiders are activated. So that means this fella wakes up, and he is a regulator. Now I remember these guys from Fallout 3. That's actually the Sheriff of Megaton, Lucas Stims, I believe, who just happens to be the picture there. The Looter takes a step towards me. The Raider Scum, the Raider Psycho, and the Acolyte all take a step here towards me. The Raider Psycho comes here trying to visit me, and I believe that is everything. So now it's back to myself. Now what do? I could continue to explore and try and buff up my agenda points. Hopefully, I think might be my only attempt. So what I'll do is I'll just move forward this direction and try and explore a little bit more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have the final agenda deck card for the round, which is Star and Deathclaw. So there's no stars on the board, however the Deathclaw's symbols move 1. So the glowing one takes a step here, and this Deathclaw wakes up, and he is an actual Deathclaw. And as you can see here, his stats are pretty nasty. He's 3 hit points, you can only hit him in the arms, and he strikes immediately. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, was the last of the agenda cards. And what happens here is both factions move down together, and I have effectively lost the game. The aim of the game is to have as much kind of influence agenda points as you can. I had here a maximum of 5. I had 2 security cards, which give me an extra agenda point for every point the Enclave was further than the Brotherhood. However, because they're level, I only get 1 influence point for both of those. I have a one-of-a-kind influence point, which gives me an extra influence point if I have 6 of the special tokens, which I do. If I had 7, I would have gotten 3 influence points. So I technically have 4, and my 5th influence point, which was know-it-all, in which if I had uncovered all of the wasteland, I would have had a maximum of 3. So unfortunately, it's a difficult game to win, because even if I had all 7 hit points, uncovered all the tiles, the enclave would still have to be, that would only give me 6, 7, 8, and the enclave would still have to be at least 2 spaces ahead of the Brotherhood in order for me to have sufficient influence points to win the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, because I have effectively lost the game, we have a decision to make. I could continue to play and unravel some more of the story, or we could put a pin in this and I could try and play a different game for your enjoyment. Now, if you want me to continue playing this game, just please leave a comment below. If you want me to move on to something different, please leave a comment below, and depending on what way people feel, we'll either stay with this game and explore more of the mechanics despite losing the game, or we will move on into a different game like, say, possibly Silver Tower. So, until next time, this is Sean from The Lucky Roll. If you enjoyed this playthrough, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and until next time, good luck and God bless.